So you might be able to relate to this story that I'm about to tell you. But recently, I had a doctor who works here in the area come to me and he said, John, I've got these friends who they're able to put aside hundreds of thousands of dollars in their retirement accounts, or so they tell me every year. And I am only able to put aside about $60-some thousand per year. At least that's what my accountant has told me. And I can't imagine what they're doing differently. What are they doing? And more importantly, how do I do it? And I said to him, well, it sounds like what they're using is a cash balance plan. And he said to me, well, I've heard of cash balance plans, but I don't really know how they work. What are they, and how would I set one up if it's the right fit? And, well, today's video is about how you do exactly that. Hi, my name is John Norberg, and welcome to the Financial Props series. So in today's video, we're talking about cash balance plans, right? If you've ever been cash balance curious, if you will, then this is the video for you. So the first thing to know about cash balance plans is that they're a little different than your traditional 401k type plan. Probably one of the most obvious ways is that a cash balance plan is what's known as a defined benefit plan. This is different than a 401k type plan, which is usually a defined contribution plan. What does that mean? Well, it puts the responsibility for the retiree to be differently. In a defined benefit plan, the responsibility is on the employer because the employer is the one contributing to the defined benefit plan rather than the employee. So at the end of that employee's career, they're going to have a pension-like vehicle that they can then use, and a cash balance plan has to abide by the pension rules for them to fund their retirement that has been funded for them by their employer. The direct contribution plan, on the other hand, carries a lower risk for the employer because now the responsibility for retirement savings is on the employee. They're the ones responsible for contributing to their 401k, making sure that it's doing well and that it has enough in it by the time they get to retirement. So again, cash balance plan is a defined benefit plan. And oftentimes I see that it works best while used in tandem with a defined contribution 401k. So you've got a 401k over here, which, like our doctor friend, is able to set aside $69,000 per year. And then over here, we've got the defined benefit plan, which the maximum on that is $409,000. So between the defined contribution 401k and profit sharing plan over here, you can set aside $69,000. And if you max out the cash balance plan, you have another $409k. That means $478,000 could possibly be put aside on an annual basis into tax-sheltered, legally sheltered retirement accounts. And that is a fantastic, tremendous savings. So a couple of things that you also want to know about the cash balance plan, right? You're going to need an actuary to help you set this up because it's tied to certain tables that mean it's going to be geared a little bit more towards the older rather than the younger people using this plan. So the older you get, the more you're able to put aside in it. The other thing to know is that it is going to involve, if you ever shut it down, another set of actuarial and legal fees in order to do so. You might be asking, well, John, I just theoretically got this thing set up. Why on earth would I want to shut it down? Well, this is where we see a strategy that can be effectively used if you're intentional about it, where what you do is about every 5 years or so, after you've set up that plan, that defined benefit cash balance plan, and had it in motion for about 5 years, you've been maxing it out every year. Usually there's a reason at the end of that period to go ahead and shut down the plan. So you shut it down, you pay the fees, and then basically you take that sum and you roll it over to your 401k, where you might have more investment options, can be a little more aggressive if you want to. I can talk about some in-plan Roth conversions if it's a good time to do so. In other words, there's typically more flexibility within that 401k vehicle. And then essentially you just start up a new defined benefit plan, a new cash balance plan once that process is complete. And then you rinse and repeat. And at this point, if you do this for 20, 30 years, and you're also doing the other things alongside of that, so, $69,000 into the 401k profit sharing plan, plus, another couple $100,000 depending on your age into the defined benefit cash balance plan, and then maxing out your HSA as well as hopefully some backdoor Roths for yourself and your spouse if you're married. Then by the time you get to the end of that 20, 30-year period, you are quite plausibly looking at an 8-figure balance between all of those different accounts. And this is where it gets fun, because now we can start talking about how do we support the charities, the causes that we love the most, that we care about the most. How do we make sure that that generational wealth, which we've now built, is there not only for the next generation, but 2, 3, 4, 5 generations down the road? What kind of vehicles or trusts or what have you are the best fit for what our goals are. But in order to get there, the most important part is that you take the first step. So, if you're cash balance curious and you want to know if this is a good fit for you, send us a message, drop us a line, subscribe to the channel, and we'd love to hear from you now. Thanks, and I'll see you out there.